when I met him, it was bam, it was instant. And I called my therapist at the time and I said, I met the man I'm going to marry today. I just knew it.
Suzanne Somers was known for her radiant smile, timeless beauty, and a love story that seemed picture-perfect. But after her death, a shocking revelation emerged, one that hinted at a secret love affair hidden from the public eye. Beneath the glamour, there was a side of Suzanne no one expected. A lot of people knew Suzanne Somers as the picture of a woman who had everything: fame, money, and a marriage that seemed to be going great. For decades, she was America's sweetheart, and her beautiful smile and magnetic charm made her a star. People only saw what she liked, though, as they do with many Hollywood stars. Under the shiny top, life was a lot trickier and less clear. People began to talk about a secret love affair that happened after she died. The relationship was kept from the public. A lot of stories were going around about this. That information changed how many people saw the woman they loved. People praised her for being honest about getting older, love, and health, but she kept a side of her life from everyone, a side that no one saw coming. What really happened in Suzanne Somers' life, even though it seemed perfect? As the story goes on, the truth shows a side of her that makes people question what they thought they knew about her. This secret relationship showed what was really going on behind the flashy front. It wasn't just a one-time thing. There were no fireworks or big Hollywood events when Suzanne Somers and Alan Hamel first fell in love. It began in a small way in a TV studio. Alan was a Canadian TV host when Suzanne was just starting out in her work. When their roads met, something clicked. Alan had a lot of confidence and charm. Suzanne stood out because she was so nice and had a great smile. You can't ignore how well they get along with each other. At first, things were not easy. Their schedules were crazy. Alan was managing work and family, and Suzanne was trying to make it as an actress, which is a very difficult job. But they kept coming back to each other. They each had something that no one else did, not something they were willing to give up. They came down hard. Their relationship grew quickly, and they soon knew it was serious. They made it official and got married in 1977. The marriage in Hollywood was not like most, though. It turned out to be one of the entertainment business's oldest and most respected partnerships. Alan and Suzanne were great together for over 40 years. They were more than just husband and wife. They were business partners, best friends, and fierce supporters of each other. From every angle, they looked great. Suzanne, a beautiful actor, played the lead role in Three's Company. Alan was the steady, quiet power next to her. They made a brand together. They started businesses together, wrote books together, and even went on TV together. A lot of people liked watching them together. They laughed, worked together, and seemed to make everything easy. Suzanne never stopped praising Alan in public. She called him the love of her life and often said she wouldn't be where she was without him. She gave him credit for her success every time she talked about it. Suzanne said Alan was the one person who always made her feel better. Whether she was dealing with the tough Hollywood scene or personal problems, he was her rock. It was great that he stayed by her side through everything. The media portrayed them as the most powerful pair out there. The story of their love seemed like a fairy tale. They walked the red carpet together, always laughing and holding hands. In appearances, they talked about their love, making it sound like they knew how to make their marriage perfect. People wished for this kind of love, steady, strong, and unbreakable. But there was more to the story than the perfect picture. Suzanne and Alan have made a life for themselves in the spotlight, but being famous can be hard sometimes. They had their fair share of worry and rumors. Any kind of friendship can't last in Hollywood because it's so hostile. Still, they stood strong and showed the world a united front through it all. Their love story was now part of their business. Fans didn't just praise Suzanne's acting or health business, they also liked her marriage. Hollywood couples didn't usually stay together for this long, but Suzanne and Alan seemed to beat the chances. People see them as symbols of lasting love in a world where relationships can end quickly. What about Suzanne's love life when no one was around? Was it more complicated than anyone thought? For years, Suzanne Summers and Alan Hamel looked like the perfect couple. They laughed and worked together, and they always looked happy in public. There were, however, rumors of a secret romance going around behind the scenes. In addition, these whispers did not come from nowhere. There were whispers about someone in Suzanne's life who wasn't Alan. Some people in the know said it was a close friend, while others said it was an important person in Hollywood. No matter who it wasn't just any stranger. People said this person had been around Suzanne for years and had been easy to see. It's said that the affair didn't start overnight. Sources say it began when Suzanne's career was at its peak. She was beautiful and successful. She was on magazine covers and great shows and building a business empire. But being famous comes with expectations, and things weren't always as smooth behind the scenes as they seemed at first. The story goes that the secret relationship started out in a quiet way. Private members can attend conferences, phone calls late at night. Things that were in the spotlight were taken away. Some say it began when Suzanne was trying to get better pay on Three's company. She thought that the network and even some friends weren't there to help her. According to the stories, that's when this mysterious man stepped in to comfort and explain. If Suzanne's life was so great, and her husband was so nice, why would she keep such a big secret from everyone? The answer is easy to see: worry. Suzanne had spent years building a strong American image. It made people happy about her. If people found out about her affair, everything she had worked for could fall apart. She knew that the reporters wouldn't back down. The newspapers would scream treason. Some of her fans might turn against her. Even worse, it could hurt Alan, the man who has been there for her through it all. Then her family came. Suzanne was in the group of mothers. She knew how bad an incident could be for everyone involved. She didn't want her family to experience the chaos that comes with fame. She didn't tell anyone about the affair just to save her job. She did it to protect the people she loved the most. But lies don't stay hidden for long. Over the years, cracks began to show. Friends saw strange things happen. There are a lot of silent fights between Suzanne and Alan, sudden mood swings and gaps that can't be explained. Some people said they saw her meet the mysterious man behind her back. Others said Alan might have known, but chose not to say anything to avoid making people look bad. And soon there was more and more proof. Private letters filled with love and desire were found that were never meant to be seen. New information was found by talking to old friends and workers. One close friend said Suzanne once broke down and said it was hard for her to balance her public life with her personal needs. What she said also hinted at something else. In past conversations, Suzanne often said nice things about Alan's loyalty, but sometimes she seemed to be hiding something, like there was a part of her life she couldn't talk about. No matter what was said, Suzanne never admitted to having an affair. In public, Jane and Alan stayed together, putting up a strong front against the reports. But the people who were closest to her knew there was more to the story. There is something hidden right below the surface. And if these claims are true, the big question remains: how much did Alan really know? Because as the world admired their perfect marriage, something else may have been happening behind closed doors. Someone was caught off guard when rumors of Suzanne's affair began to spread. What about Alan? Alan Hamel was always by her side, helpful and committed, always looked beautiful in public. But besides the friendly smiles, was there something else going on? Some reports say Alan knew about the affair that was said to be going on. He wasn't blind, calls late at night, the unexplained gaps the sudden change in Suzanne's mood. Someone thought something wasn't right. But did he look at her? That part is still a puzzle. Alan's behavior in public never showed that he was having a problem. He smiled for the cameras while Suzanne stood next to him at events. They were a great example of a couple. But people who are inside say something different. It was tense behind closed doors. Things got harder when they tried to keep up appearances. Suzanne, who is known for being funny and charming, wasn't as free. Friends said that sometimes she looked like she was deep in thought and not paying attention. Alan might have ignored the reports because she is always careful with her image. Still, whispers like these don't go away easily. Over the years, little signs kept coming through. In conversations, Suzanne talked about the difficulties of fame. She talked about how hard it was to keep a marriage strong when everyone could see it. Sometimes, her words hinted at something deeper as well. It was a pain she couldn't fully express. I was really interested in one conversation in particular. Suzanne admitted that things were not always great in their relationship. He and she faced challenges no one would ever understand, she said. But she never really paid attention. What was getting in their way? And really, how much does Alan know? It is hard to keep two worlds in balance. Suzanne had two lives, one with Alan and one that she kept hidden. Being on a tightrope felt like a lot of work. Every movement had to be planned. If you take one wrong step, everything could fall apart. Alan was her business partner along with her husband. They worked together to create a brand. There are books, TV shows, and a wellness business. What they had worked for could be lost if their marriage ends. That might explain why Alan chose to keep quiet. It might have seemed easier to ignore the truth than to deal with a scandal. The pressure was still clear. Imagine having a secret and pretending that everything is fine at the same time. Suzanne had to fake a smile for the cameras to hide how heavy her choices were. Alan and you? He had to deal with the stories and wonder if there was more to them than she was willing to share. The cracks were seen by people close to the pair. Some said Alan began to watch everything Suzanne did. Some people thought he didn't say anything because he wanted her to stop. Their love story was built on years of trust, which may have been put to the test more often than most people knew. During the trouble, they stayed together. In public, their relationship looked like it was perfect, but when the doors were shut, it was a whole different story. Whatever feeling Suzanne had for the mysterious man, she fought her devotion to Alan. And if Alan knew the truth, one question remains. Was he willing to forgive, or did he simply choose to forget? Because while the world saw a perfect marriage, the reality may have been far more complicated. Under the flashing lights and glitz, Good Summers fought things that no camera could catch. Her life was anything but easy, even though everyone saw a woman who was full of life. One of the hardest things for her is her long battle with breast cancer tested her strength in ways that not many people knew about. Suzanne first got her diagnosis in the year 2000. A sentence like that would change the lives of many people. But Suzanne wasn't the type to back down. People both praised and criticized her for choosing alternative treatments over traditional ones. Some people said she was brave. Some people thought she wasn't careful. But Suzanne stayed true to herself and was always honest about the choices she made. Even though she was working hard to stay healthy, the emotional weight of her daily life did not just go away. Keeping especially heavy lies can be hard, and for someone like Suzanne, who was always sure of herself, it was hard to keep everything together. Imagine carrying the weight of a hidden world while you are sick all the time. Suzanne's close friends thought that her worry was making her personal problems worse. It's not easy to keep up a beautiful front while hiding pain. Also, no matter how strong you are, lies can hurt your emotions just the same. Even so, Suzanne refused to let her illness define who she was. Even though she was fighting for her health, she kept working, pushing herself, and getting more done. To do well, she didn't just want to live. Her advice was clear. Even when bad things happen in life, you can still be in charge of your own fate. The hard times she went through never stopped her from making an impact. More than just acting, Suzanne became more than that. She paved the way. Long before it became a movement, she fought against Hollywood stereotypes about women by pushing for equal pay and treatment. She didn't like it when directors of Three's Company paid her less than her male co-stars. She lost her job, but she made a strong case for why women should get more. She didn't end there either. After leaving the stage, Suzanne changed how she looked. She started a fitness business, wrote best-selling books, and became an advocate for women's health. She talked about getting older, hormone therapy, and living a full life, all of which are things that many people are too afraid to talk about. Women who felt like they weren't seen looked up to her because she was honest. Suzanne wanted women to be strong during this whole thing. She believed that you might be able to control your health and happiness. Her fans admired her for both how pretty she was and how honest she was. We rarely see people who seem to have it all fighting problems, but she showed us how they do it. There are a lot of rumors and whispers about Suzanne, but her impact goes beyond any controversy. She stood for determination, freedom, and the belief that you could write your own story. And no matter what was happening behind closed doors, one thing was clear. Suzanne Somers was never afraid to live life on her own terms. When the truth about Suzanne Somers' secret affair came to light, the world couldn't stop talking. For years, she had been known as the picture-perfect wife and mother. So when whispers turned into full-blown revelations, everyone wanted to know, how did the people closest to her react? Alan Hamel, Suzanne's husband of over 4 decades, was no stranger to public scrutiny. But this was different. The idea that Suzanne, the woman who always praised their love, could have been involved in an affair was hard to believe. Friends close to the couple described Alan's reaction as one of quiet pain. He had stood by her through everything, career struggles, health battles, and media storms. But this revelation cut deeper. Still, Alan never spoke publicly against Suzanne. Even after her passing, he remained fiercely protective of her memory. Some believe he knew more than he ever let on. Others think the news blindsided him. Either way, one thing was certain. He wasn't going to let the affair define her legacy. Their family also faced the fallout. Suzanne had always put on a united front, especially for her son and stepchildren. But behind closed doors, the affair raised questions no one wanted to answer. Did they know? If they did, why didn't they speak out? And if they didn't, how did it feel to learn about it alongside the rest of the world? These were the questions swirling around as the truth unfolded. Fans, too, were torn. To many, Suzanne had been a symbol of warmth and honesty. The idea that she had hidden such a huge part of her life didn't sit well. Some felt betrayed. How could she preach about love and loyalty while keeping secrets? Others, however, saw her as human. They argued that no one is perfect, not even celebrities. Life is messy, and Suzanne's affair was just another example of how complicated relationships can be. But nothing fueled the fire quite like the media. Once the affair became public knowledge, headlines exploded. Tabloids ran wild with speculation. When did it really start? Who else knew? How did she keep it hidden for so long? The media painted her as a woman living a double life, torn between her public image and private desires. Television specials and magazine covers dissected every detail. Old interviews were re-examined, with reporters searching for hidden clues in her words. Moments that once seemed innocent now felt heavy with unspoken truths. Suzanne's charm had always captivated audiences, but now, that charm was under a microscope. The fascination wasn't just about Suzanne herself. It was part of a bigger obsession, society's endless curiosity about the private lives of the rich and famous. Fans want to believe they know their favorite stars, but revelations like this remind them how much remains hidden. Suzanne wasn't the first celebrity to face such scrutiny, and she certainly wouldn't be the last. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Click on the next video popping up on your screen for more amazing content.